Hello there. What is going on, everybody? Today we're asking the question, are we getting more for Star Wars Armada? A lot of folks have been asking this question lately. It's definitely been a buzz question because, frankly, we're a little bit overdue for a little something. And when I say a little something, that could mean a lot of different things. I'm going to talk about the reasons why, some of the timelines of events, and part of the confusion, and what my thoughts are for the future in today's video. If you guys are new here to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button. We are doing a $25 Amazon gift card giveaway. You just have to be a subscriber and leave a comment on this or one of my videos. If you're already subscribed, you're already halfway there. Just let me know your thoughts on the future of Star Wars Armada. And if you're not an Armada player, tell me what your favorite ship is. And like, what is it that might, what attracts you to games? Why aren't you playing Armada yet? What are the games that you do like to play? Love to hear all about these things. Plus, we can keep the discussion going on Discord, as well as the comments section. There's links for Discord and also for social media links, all that good stuff down in the video description below. Let's go ahead and talk about Star Wars Armada. So we are over a month out from Adepticon, where we did not get X-Wing or Armada news. If you look at the previous year's schedules, there have been we got a tease for Armada last year at Adepticon. They talked a little bit about rapid reinforcements and, of course, organized play and some of that sort of stuff. And we do know there's been big changes to organized play, but we were waiting to find out anything specific about Armada for, an OP kit for Armada, if there's going to be one, if there will be an Armada tournament at next year's, well, it won't be Worlds, but next year's, Adepticon or Gen Con or any of this stuff. Basically, they're going to be doing grand tournaments now instead of World tournaments, which some players are really not happy about. Some players I think is okay. I think for the most part, though, people are very mixed on that. People don't like the idea of Worlds going away and there no longer being a world champion and there no longer being a Worlds competition as that high water mark, that measuring tool where all the players around the globe come together to kind of compare notes and to see what fleet stands or flies above the rest. So that was a big shakeup. And I think there was definitely the expectation that AMG would have come forward and made an announcement, talked a little bit about organized play as well as the things that didn't get mentioned at Adepticon, and like specifically X-Wing and Armada, because, well, frankly, they haven't had anything in forever. If you look at last year's timeline after Adepticon, we also got Armada Rapid Reinforcements 2 announced. And so even though it was teased, it came out very, very shortly afterwards. And the idea is when Worlds happens, that concludes sort of the year or the season of the game. And it's a prime time to announce new changes moving forward for the next year. And, well, frankly, that next year has started already. Like, we're in the next season of Armada, and there's been no change, no points adjustments, no rapid reinforcements, no announcements of new content or anything like that. And so that's really where I think a lot of people are like, all right, it's time. What are we going to get? And this is the week of May the 4th, which is actually this coming Saturday. So it seems like this would be the week to announce something if it was going to happen. And I don't expect AMG to have a big announcement on Saturday, so I think if they're going to announce anything, this would be a prime week to do it. Any of these days, might be later today. Wouldn't the irony be if I ask this question today and then only a few hours after posting this video, they come out with the announcement? That would be very, very funny, and I'd be all for it. But yeah, the big question is where are we getting Rapid Reinforcements 3? Where is it if we are? There have been some really interesting comments from play testers talking about being very optimistic about the future without confirming or anything. It does sound like there was definitely a plan to have some Armada stuff out, and I would have imagined it would have been announced by now. And I'm very curious why it's not. So it's okay. The fact that it hasn't yet isn't a cause for alarm. It's definitely a cause for eyebrows being up in the air, at least one. If I can do my Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson kind of eyebrow raise there. But yeah, it's tough, right? It's a tough situation. So let's rewind back to 2021. All right, we got this. We got this big announcement from AMG. As we move into 2022 and beyond, we're excited to continue support of Star Wars Armada by prioritizing reprints of existing products and through organized play. However, we currently have no new Armada products in development. We'll provide additional information as it becomes available. So basically, this was kind of seen as the death of Armada. It's like, oh, they're not making anything new for Armada, but they're also being upfront with us about it. The problem with this is this came like a year into them having Armada, so that whole year I think we were expecting that they were learning and preparing and maybe even designing future content. And so when this came out, it's like, oh, you weren't doing anything all along. So that was kind of that was very it was a rough time. It was definitely a rough time. But while a lot of us were settling into this is the official position, is that there's no product in development, nothing's in development. Since then, we've gotten Rapid Reinforcements 1 and Rapid Reinforcements 2, a year apart, right after Adepticon. We've got multiple new expansions, digital expansions, like PDF expansions. And it was nice. It was a nice little infusion of a couple of new cards into the game. You know, each faction got just a little something, like 1 or 2 cards for each faction. And that was a really big deal. Now, I would consider that products that had to be in development. So if we rewind to, well, we have no new product in development, and then all of a sudden, well, okay, and it had been asked and answered multiple times, even during, like, I think in between Rapid Reinforcements 1 and 2, and I believe AMG had come out and said our official stance is still that there's no new product in development. And then Rapid Reinforcements 2 comes out, so I'm certainly a little confused as to what the official position is, because I feel like AMG may inadvertently be sending mixed messages by saying that there is nothing in development, but then at the same time still releasing new product. Even though it's not physical product, it's still, stuff like this has to go through development. It goes through every part of development except for printing, and shipping. It still has to go through art, has to be commissioned. It has to go through card design, play testing, and LFL approval, as well as AMG approval, right? So, like, it has to go through all of these different steps, and all of that takes development time. Now, I don't know how much of it was really done by, like, play testers or if there were commissioned people doing it, because since it wasn't a physical product, we don't have like one of those little sheets where it says like who designed this and all that other stuff. So we don't really know, who worked on it or how much time was spent working on it or whatever. But regardless, at the end of the day, to me, this counts as development. We've had 2 of them. So what's next? It's a very, there's been a lot of silence about Armada and X-Wing. Now I think that I'm not saying the sky is falling, because there's a couple of things that we do know. First off, there's been some changes. There's been a lot of news with the Embracer Group and Asmodee, and Asmodee shifting to its own company, and being saddled with all this debt. And there's a lot of things to talk about with that. I'm sure at the end of the day that has had some impact on Atomic Mass Games, as well as all of the other companies that Asmodee has. And I'm sure that a big change like that is going to, at some level, have a lot of things get pushed to the right. So a lot of timelines will get pushed farther to the right. It's a big shakeup. I expect there to be consequences. I expect there to be, lots of consequences. When you have a massive restructuring of a company and moving a company around, changing a lot of details about what that company has to do and how much profits they have to make or whatever, I imagine it's going to shift a lot of focus around. So it may very well be possible that there was more Armada ready to announce, but it had to get realigned. That's possible. Also, there is another mini extravaganza supposed to be happening in July. Now, that may get pushed to the right as well, but during Adepticon, they said there would be another mini extravaganza in July. I wouldn't be terribly surprised if that got pushed a little farther to the right, to maybe August or September, but there will be another mini extravaganza. It's possible we may get something at that point, although that would be awfully late. And if you're not doing seasons anymore, and that's kind of one of the reasons that I had a problem with Worlds, is that if you no longer have a year-to-year system to kind of measure balance and changes and get feedback from the community and how certain cards are performing, how certain lists and synergies are performing, over the course of a year. If there is no worlds anymore, there's no measuring mark, and so I wonder, what kind of impact that'll have on design space, and and it could be both. It could be both positive and negative. You could say negative because there's no worlds to worry about, so you don't have to worry about balance anymore. But on the other hand, if there's no worlds to worry about, then you can push balance changes much sooner than you wanted. So you could, in theory, have a balance change every other month. A new points update constantly, new rapid reinforcements coming out constantly. Realistically, I don't expect that to happen at all. So that's why I'm leaning on the other side, where instead of getting something every year, they may say, oh, well, since there's not worlds anymore, maybe Rapid Reinforcements 3 can wait till 2030 or something like that. That's the kind of the worst case scenario. That's what I'm worried about. That's what I'm afraid of, because I do love seeing an infusion of new content. Even if it's only once a year, it's still usually very nice and exciting. Because it's all new cards and new stuff for every faction. We know that the Clone Wars factions need the most help. They need commanders. They could use more ships. We just saw the Architans get reprinted, are finally in stock. People are finally able to pick up Architans now, and I think it's a great way to sell existing products to release rapid reinforcements. I have a theory that I'll swing by you, and I want to hear what you guys think of this theory, because this is just pure speculation on my part. What if Atomic Mass Games said, hey, you know what? Rapid Reinforcements 3, maybe it is a thing. We've got it here where we could release it, but why don't we take this opportunity to instead just put out another PDF? Why don't we actually make a new physical product to put on store shelves? There's always been an influence to kind of get product on store shelves. What if they said, hey, let's reprint the trilogy, Rapid Reinforcements as a whole, 1, 2, and 3, in this new card pack. It goes out into store shelves. Maybe you get some erratas, maybe you get some reprints or whatever. Maybe just you get a card pack. Maybe Rapid Reinforcements 3 is a little bit bigger. Maybe you're getting like 50 new cards of the whole thing or something like that. I think the community would go nuts. Might have to be a little more expensive. I expect the price increase to also be just around the corner. I do expect that to happen. I expect prices to go up soon. There was the big Asmodee thing, news release talking about how retailers can't offer their stuff at discounts anymore. I'm paraphrasing very, very briefly, but I expect that usually sounds like the type of announcement that goes very close to a cost increase. And honestly, I wouldn't be terribly surprised. We've seen inflation. We've seen costs go up around the globe. I wouldn't be terribly surprised if there was also a marginal cost rise. And I feel like if that were happening and I had announcements for games, I'd probably want to hold off on those announcements until after the bad news comes out, to maybe then be able to kind of layer them with good news. I'm like, oh man, bad news. There's a cost increase going up? Oh, well, hey guys, forget about that. We've got some brand new product to tease. Here it is. Boom. And then suddenly kind of, a spoonful of sugar helps the medicine go down. Mary Poppins reference, right? Maybe that's exactly what's happening here. Maybe they're trying to synchronize announcements for the greater good. I don't know. That's one of my thoughts. Let me know what you think down in the comments section. I'm wondering if we don't get anything by May the 4th, does that mean that there's been significant delays and we might not get anything for a while? That's what I'm worried about, because I'd love to see some new Armada content or anything related to Armada, whether it's points rebalancing, whether it's new organized play stuff, whether it's especially if it's new to the Rapids reinforcements. I think points rebalancing would be close to the top of my list. Rapid reinforcements could be, but you never know if it's like the first version of Anakin, and it could just very well be that Rapid Reinforcements 3 required additional playtesting. It could be that they found something that was broken. Maybe they found the Anakin Skywalker 1.0 before it was released, and they said, "Hey, let's give it another month while we iron this out and make sure that it's a really highly polished product." That could certainly be the case as well. But that's me kind of looking at it through rosy glasses. I know that there's a lot of people who have pitchforks raised, and I hear you and I understand. I just think we can try to focus on what we can control. Speculation is fine and good, and I love to speculate, but let's not get too bent out of shape of it, because we do have a great game that's in great shape right now. It's in pretty darn good shape. We got a lot of great ships out there, a lot of great list options, and we can keep playing. We can always pick a year to start playing a little bit more higher point cost games. Like simply playing 600 point games of Star Wars Armada is a great way to change things up just a little bit. Let me know what your thoughts are. I'll talk to you guys later. I want to thank you all so much for watching. Big thanks to my patrons. You guys are out of this world and help make this channel possible. I will talk to you later. May the force be with you. Live long and prosper. Be excellent to each other. So say we all. The spice must flow. And always wash your socks.